Say what? Fly, Eagles, fly. Brandon Graham re-signed? Man, I'll be honest, I wasn't expecting that at all. You saw when the last time I talked about Brandon Graham, I said I didn't really want to imagine the Eagles without Brandon Graham. My man still has plenty left in the tank. You can rush the passer until you're an old man. James Harrison was rushing the passer. He was like 40 years old. Brandon Graham on a 1-year deal, that's hard. And look what he said. I love Philly. I don't want to miss a championship with Jalen. Jalen is the man. No truer words have been spoken, man. I love it. I love that brotherhood right there, man. Right out here, baby. So you know we got a roll call it. South Jersey stand up, baby. Cumberland County, Gloucester, Camden, my beloved Atlantic City, AC in the building, Egg Harbor Township, the entire Philly, Northwest, South, the Center City, Delaware, everybody out that bad boy, man. Newark, we doing it big in Christiana, Elkton, Maryland, everybody you want to talk about, man. Everybody stand up for this cat, man. It's one of the best Eagles of all time. My man said it's so funny because he was asked about missing out on the opportunity to get wine and dine from Josina Anderson. And he says, you're right. I did miss out on a few steaks, but I just wanted to be home. While I was looking forward to covering his free agency tour, he couldn't have sounded happier, Josina said. Man, can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? So if we're talking about resetting the outside linebacker, right? The outside linebacker role, I think a guy like that is very important because if you think about basing in a 3-4, I'm still going to roll with that till told otherwise. I covered Sean Desai at Seattle. They moved to a 3-4 when he came along. And, of course, Chicago, he was running a 3-4 base defense until told otherwise. You need multiple outside linebackers because if somebody gets hurt, whether it being the man, right, Hassan Reddick or Josh Sweat on the other side there, you need somebody there. And, of course, when you go in those sub packages, right, you need somebody like a Brandon Graham to be there. But you need someone beyond him as well. A lot of people talking about Nolan Smith. I already talked about that before. That would be a pretty good look. He's looking like he got enough buzz now to be in the first round. I wouldn't personally mess with Nolan Smith in the first round. There are guys to me, like I said before, B.J. Ojulari, more of a natural pass rusher, and he's bigger than Nolan Smith. If you had to have a Georgia outside linebacker in a 3-4, my man Robert Beal Jr. right here would be available. I would have to think maybe even beyond the second round. He's bigger than Nolan, 6'4", so he's longer than Nolan, 6'2". He's 247 pounds. Nolan about 238 pounds there. He may not be the super explosive athlete like a Nolan Smith there, but if you can see right here, his 40-yard dash, he did run a 4.48 at nearly 250 pounds. So if you want to talk about raw athleticism, obviously there's no outside linebackers running 40 yards in a straight line to get to the quarterback or none of that shit like that. So I barely take that with a grain of salt. I'm pretty sure Brandon Graham ain't doing that right now in his older age, but yet you can see he can still get to the passer, right? Now, Bill hasn't been the most productive linebacker. He's been in a heavy rotation. There's no doubt about that. He's one of these cats who will have to make the most of his time there. He was in college 5 years, and he had 10 sacks total. But in 2021, when Adam Anderson went down, he was the one who stepped up the sack game, even over a cat like Nolan Smith. So you got to take that into consideration. He had 6.5 sacks as his high for a season there. He kind of disappointed this season right here with 2.5 sacks. I thought he would jump up. I'm going to drop a film study that I did before this season where I thought that he was going to take that next step, and he didn't quite take it. But, hey, being an Eagle and getting coached up and being around a Brandon Graham and a Hassan Reddick, I think could do wonders for him. But 6.5 sacks in a single season is higher than Nolan Smith, who had 4.5 sacks as a career high. So take that for what it's worth. We're talking about him in a lower round, obviously, than a Nolan Smith and somebody who could be worked in there. So I like to see that happen right there. Let me know what you think about Nolan Smith. I'm going to drop this film study right now. But big salute to my man, BG Brandon Graham, all right? Fly, Eagles, fly. All right, Top Billin, it's with great pleasure to do something on my man, Robert Beal. Robert Beal, Man, I've known that cat for a long time, going back. It's like his 15th year of college football. That man is aging like fine wine, though. Somebody shouldn't have woke this dude up. Covering that man way back in the day, I used to always think he was sleepy. He'd be like eyes all low and twisting his hair and shit like that. But I always thought he was an extremely talented cat. And I remember going to see him at a private workout. I worked with a guy who was working on his pass rush skills, overall edge playing skills. And man, I was like, this dude is fantastic, phenomenal, athletic, explosive, heady, all that. And man, it just didn't come to fruition to him until last season. Now, think about that. I keep saying I'm going to wake people up about what Georgia has coming back, not necessarily about what it's lost. That's what the haters do. Haters always talking about what somebody lost. You got to pay attention to what's coming back. Robert Beal, in his 11th season of college football, right? The man had 6.5 sacks last year after finally waking up. What is that shit? What was that story called back in the day? Rumpelstiltskin or some shit like that? Wait, hold on. Let me ask my wife. Oh, it's Rip Van Winkle. Rob Van Winkle, your man Rob Van Winkle. Now I ain't talking about Vanilla Ice. Robert Beal, Robert Van Winkle out here, always looking sleepy, but that man is now putting quarterbacks to sleep. It's nap time for your QB, straight up. So we do a little quick film study right here. Man, I really like this one right here. He was going against your man Owens at Alabama here at right tackle. And you can see this man get into the chest of this man and get him some complete prison loving. Look at that. Then, come on, man. If you listen real closely, you can hear your boy Bryce Young sleep. Robert Beal putting people to sleep because he want to go to sleep himself. But check this out. My man lined up way out to the nines, right? No sell, no tell on this one like he's a wide receiver. He's keeping it, he's keeping it close to the vest, meaning he's not telegraphing anything. And this man centers this man up after looking, right? Giving him that hezzy like it could be an inside move, could be an outside move. And then he just gets into the chest of that man, right? And then he's driving Miss Daisy back to the quarterback. Owens has nothing to offer him. Look at that. He's shorting Owens up, right? Owens look like he's about 6 feet tall right there. But he got shortened by that man Van Winkle. And then, of course, your quarterback. Nap time, baby. Let's do it. Your man Robert Beal, he wasn't just getting them blue collar sacks. He was getting a white collar variety as well. He has a host of moves, and I really love his stick-to-itiveness and the physicality, right? This is something, I'll be honest with you. I had called that man up one time when he was transferring from IMG back to Norcross, and I heard something that said that he could play in a playoff game for Norcross if he transferred back, and I hit him up, and I was like, man, you going to play in a playoff game for Norcross? And I don't know. He sounded sleepy. You know what I'm saying? We're being real about this shit, right? He was like, no, or whatever like that. And I was like, man, I wonder if he even really likes football. I know he's great at it. Some of these guys are just great at it, and they don't really like it. I just think this man really loves football, and I think that last season is about to propel him to something special this season. Him and Nolan Smith, and the guys that they have behind those guys, man, they have some really great edge players, and they got that freak Jalen Carter who could be the best player not named Will Anderson on the defensive side of the ball. They got some dudes, I'm telling you right now. All right, so on this one right here, they're gonna try to get your man with the okey doke right here. They're gonna pull Trevor Keegan here, and you can see him meet that inertia, and you can see how he works and being able to discard the trash. I really like this one. 2 sacks in those 2 playoff games, and look at the physicality. Shrug him aside, and spire. Another one bites the dust. Come on. See this right here, right? He understands the okie doke, checks off for that. He knows he's about to be met with something that's not going to be a clear path to victory on that. Boom! A meeting of the minds right there. Now the physicality ensues, right? He wants to get to your quarterback. You don't want him to get to your quarterback, but hey, it's not your call. It's his call. Shrugs him off. Gets back inside, still right there battling right there. Got that man hung up by his shirt lapel, telling him, yeah, I'm getting to your quarterback right now. What you gonna do about it? One arm, and still got in there. Come on, man. Robert Beal is a beast. I love this one right here. You got Robert Beal there. However, you'll have a 3-man weave going. You got Devontae Wyatt right here, Trayvon Walker, and like I said before, Bill. You get Walker coming through right here as kind of the hammer, all the way on a 2-gap loop. You got Devontae Wyatt coming on the edge here, and then you'll have Robert Beal taking on the inside approach. Robert Beal doing the damn thing on this one right here. Check it out. Oh, look at that. Inside approach. You see the quick move, right? The quick move to get to the inside of the right tackle here. Centers him up. Stick that foot in the ground, right? And then leave that man grasping for straws. Nothing he can do about that right there. Barely gets a hand on him on the inside with his left. There's nothing you can do about that. When that man getting skinny like that, you give him enough of a gap for him to get skinny through, and then he can use that power that he has. Look at him flushing Hendon Hooker out the pocket and splatter whack that man. That's hard. One more time, full speed. Ooh. Oh, let's see it from this direction. You can see it right here. We're already kind of in the midst of it, but that's a big action, right? Give a man a big action. Give him something to think about. You got the hands all out, almost like AI crossover, just giving them something to look at right there. But look at this. You see that? Look at the right hand there. It's going to end up being an arm over move. Push down the left hand of the tackle, come back with the over, get skinny through there, keep battling, and then there's nothing, especially when you got Wyatt coming around. He got a lot of stuff for those guys to think about there. He continues to work. Hooker almost does a good job of escaping, but not quite, because Bill is on that ass. Pause. I actually have no clue what happened right here. This doesn't even make sense to me here. The tackle just lets him go on the inside and splatter whack. Splatter whack. Let his quarterback get splatter whacked here. I don't know, man. Usually when you got that sleepy vibe, I think he might be some type of warrior, some type of sleepy warrior or something like that. He's putting cats to sleep mentally or something like that, because you will always go with the closest threat to your quarterback, which would always be an inside player, because an outside player has a little bit longer to go. He just lets him go there. I'm not sure whose responsibility this was. Maybe you can put it on the right guard here, but I don't know. To me, you got to have that inside-out read, at least, at the very least, check off if you're the right tackle. You can't let your quarterback get splatter whacked like that. Boom. He sleep. And speaking of putting somebody to sleep mentally, what the hell happened here? Look at this. Oh, another free run. Oh, one more again right there. Jordan Yates did a good job of just getting down. Look, we got to see this right here. This looked like it was legit. If you can see the snap here, look, ball just being snapped. Not sure why this man is not concentrating on what's supposed to be going on right here. But Robert Beal watching the ball, he's the only dude to get off here. Pause. And, of course, Jordan Yates, he's like, oh, hell no. Man got down quick like a $2 hooker. And then, of course, oh, what do we have here? All right, now, see, when it don't work out for you, it's time to get your exotic dancing on. Your man Jordan Yates right there looking like the male Magic City, all the way out there in Atlanta, too. So there you have it. But listen, your man Robert Beal, all jokes aside, I think he could have a big year. We will see with him being the man now, and he really wasn't counted on to be the man. He still won't be the man. Georgia is still stacked like you wouldn't believe there, but he will be on the upper echelon of players. No Adam Anderson. That dude was phenomenal. Of course, some of the guys that they lost, Trayvon Walker and those guys, but there is more than enough talent there at Georgia on defense to have a monster year again on defense, and I will continue to wake you guys up until y'all are like Robert Beal, finally woke, all right? But it's your boy Murf, the Underground King. Make sure you hit that thanks button, man, and tip your waiter.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.
He would go a little bonus action right here. Maybe I'm on to something right here. You can see him rocking the baby to sleep there, rocking Bryce Young to last to sleep. Come on, man. Bryce Young went to sleep funny too. Look, that man rocking that man to sleep. Come on, Robert Beal. Glad to see you finally woke.